Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin price is moving towards the technical price target for this rising wedge pattern. On top of that, I'll be looking at a new Bitcoin indicator that reveals generational buying opportunities. And later in this video, I'll be talking about the stock market and whether or not we might be about to experience another dump. So definitely make sure you're sticking around to the end of the video so that you don't miss out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, you might as well leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. It's right here on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame, and we've got this range of resistance that I mentioned yesterday. And obviously since yesterday, the Bitcoin bulls could not gather enough strength to push through that massive sell wall, which led into a rejection to the downside. And in that scenario, I talked about a possible rising wedge pattern, which is technically a bearish pattern, meaning that it is more likely to break to the downside than it is to the upside. And obviously you can see here that it has indeed broken to the downside, which sets up a technical price target towards the bottom of the wedge, coming in at around 35.7k, give or take. And this pattern only gets invalidated if we either hit that price target or if we break back above this line right here, which is currently coming in at around 38,000. Now taking a look at the daily time frame and zooming all the way out to see Bitcoin's price history ever since around 2013 to 2014. And this indicator right here is the 2-year moving average. And basically what it shows us is some of the best Bitcoin buying opportunities that we can possibly get according to history. We first saw this buy signal in early 2015 after we saw a lot of bearish price action and just before we entered a massive run to the upside that lasted over the next couple years or so. And then the second buy signal flashed in early 2019, and of course that turned out to be an amazing buying opportunity if you're holding for the longer term. And I've just zoomed in so we can see the next buy signal, which flashed in late 2019, and then we saw this again in early 2020 after the March 2020 crash. So this buy signal where the price action drops below the 2-year moving average is a pretty rare buying opportunity. And as I just said, when we do see this buying opportunity, it is usually the best buying opportunity that we see in many years. And if I'm zooming into the current Bitcoin price, this 2-year moving average is coming in close to 31,000. So basically to see another generational buying opportunity according to this indicator, we need to drop down towards around 30,000. Now it is important to mention that I'm not saying that we are definitely going to drop down to 30,000 or anything like that. I'm just saying that if we do, that would simply be an amazing buying opportunity. Now that's not financial advice, that is just telling you what has happened in the past and telling you what this indicator means for Bitcoin. And if you're wanting to know my current Bitcoin strategy, I'm simply dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin and holding for the longer term, because if you try to perfectly time bottoms or perfectly time tops, you're pretty much asking to lose money. So by dollar cost averaging, I don't even have to worry about the Bitcoin price, because if it goes lower, I get to buy more Bitcoin for cheap. And then eventually when it goes back up again, I get to make more profits. And staying on the daily time frame, but taking a look at this chart right here, we've got our Fibonacci levels on the logarithmic settings. So first of all, it is very clear that Bitcoin has indeed seen a rejection from the golden pocket, which we have been talking about that level as major resistance, coming in at around 39 to 40,000 approximately. And our next major level of support in the shorter term is the 78.6% Fibonacci level, which is coming in at approximately 35,000. Now, if you're looking in the daily RSI for Bitcoin, over the past few days, we've seen a breakout to the upside above this descending line of resistance. But within the last 1 to 2 days, we have seen a bit of a pullback in the daily RSI right down to this exact descending line of previous resistance, which is now potentially acting as new support. So basically the most bullish thing for Bitcoin in the RSI just here is if we hold that level, and in fact, if we see a bounce from that level, which would then further confirm this breakout to the upside. But if the daily RSI falls back below this important level, which is currently coming in at around 33 approximately, then in that case, we could be due for another short-term dump before we then make another attempt of breaking out. And speaking about the Bitcoin RSI potentially breaking out, taking a look at the Bitcoin RSI on the 3-day time frame, around half a day ago, we saw a 3-daily candle close, but unfortunately, the 3-day RSI wasn't really above this descending line of resistance when we saw that 3-daily candle close, which means we have not technically confirmed a breakout in the 3-day RSI, at least just yet. But technically speaking, it is only a matter of time before we eventually see this breakout. So for now, we just need to wait and see what is going to happen at the next 3-daily candle close in around 2.5 days from now. And now taking a quick look in the US stock market, this right here is the S&P 500 index on the 2-hour time frame. And obviously what we've been seeing over the past 1 week approximately is actually some bullish price action, because we did form that bullish W pattern, breakout to the upside, and set up a technical price target towards 4.7k in the S&P 500 index. But with that being said, there is now an increasing possibility that we might not hit that price target, and instead we might see the S&P 500 take another dip. And the reason why that might be the case is due to Meta, also known as Facebook. When the stock market closed yesterday, we saw Facebook close at around $323 per share, but then Facebook released their earnings, which performed under what we were expecting. And because of that, in after hours trading, we saw Facebook shares dump basically. And in fact, if you can see this orange line right here, that is where they're sitting at in the pre-market at the time of recording this video, which is close to $250 per share, which is basically a straight line drop of around 23%. And considering Facebook, or technically known as Meta, is one of the biggest companies in the US stock market, having the company dump by 23% in a single day is obviously not going to be good for the stock market, which is why there is a pretty good possibility that we could see a bit more bearish price action in the shorter term in the stock market, which could possibly have a negative effect on the Bitcoin price, at least in the shorter term. So just keep that in mind. If we do see some bearish price action in the shorter term, don't be too surprised. But personally, I am treating it as more of a buying opportunity just to hold for the longer term, because one thing that could possibly save us here is if the US dollar currency index flips more bearish. And right now we do have a few bearish signals starting to show on the US dollar currency index on the 3-day time frame. For example, we just got rejected at the golden pocket, which was also the technical price target for this previous W pattern, which has now technically played out. And on top of that, we are forming this bearish divergence, seeing higher highs in the price, but lower highs in the RSI. So if all of those different patterns and indicators result in some bearish price action in the US dollar, then that could be bullish for the Bitcoin price against the US dollar. But keep in mind, this is on the 3-day time frame. So each one of these candles is 3 entire days. So we're talking about the bigger picture here, not necessarily the price action that we're going to see overnight or anything like that. And as always, if you want to stay up to date in the crypto markets at all times, make sure you follow me over on my Twitter, and the link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. If you got anything of value out of this video, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. And as always, I appreciate all of you supporting the channel at the moment. I can't thank you enough. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.